An experience only becomes a gain once you decide to make it one. The Gap and the Gain by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Audiobook summary and review by StoryShots. Thomas Jefferson wrote The Pursuit of Happiness into the founding document of a nation, and Americans have been chasing it ever since. That single word, pursuit, quietly guaranteed that happiness would always stay one step out of reach. That is the opening provocation of The Gap and the Gain, the High Achiever's Guide to Happiness, Confidence, and Success by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Why ambition makes you miserable. Most high achievers assume the fix for dissatisfaction is more achievement. Entrepreneur coach Dan Sullivan noticed the opposite happening inside his own client base. His most successful clients, running 7- and 8-figure companies, kept describing themselves as behind. Not because they had failed, but because they were measuring themselves against an ideal that moves the instant they get close to it. This is the trap called the gap. You compare your current life to a future version of yourself that keeps sliding further away, so no amount of winning ever feels like winning. You've been trained since childhood to grade yourself against a target you can never actually touch. Every time you hit a goal and immediately fixate on the next one, you're doing this right now. But knowing the gap exists does not tell you where your standard should come from instead. The backward measurement nobody teaches you. Sullivan's alternative sounds almost too simple to matter. Stop measuring forward against an ideal and start measuring backward against your former self. Instead of asking how far you are from where you should be, ask how far you have come from where you started. Clients who felt like failures suddenly saw years of undeniable progress they had been ignoring. Here is the catch. Backward measurement only works with honest reference points, specific memories of your former self, not vague nostalgia. Most people have never defined what success looks like for them personally. You have probably never written your own definition of progress, which means you have no fixed point to measure backward from. The gap is a psychological trap that keeps you from feeling your own achievement. That leaves an open question. What actually determines whether an experience becomes a gain in your memory or gets buried as a loss forever? Every experience is neutral until you decide what it becomes. Two entrepreneurs lose the exact same deal, same numbers, same collapse. One spends the next year telling himself he cannot close. The other extracts 3 lessons and closes a bigger deal within months. The event was identical. The outcome diverged entirely based on a decision made after the fact, not during it. Your past is not fixed. It is edited, continuously, by what you choose to notice about it. An experience only becomes valuable once you have consciously turned it into a gain. If this reframes how you look at your own setbacks, someone in your life is probably stuck replaying a failure that deserves a second look. Send them this summary. Final summary. This summary of The Gap and the Gain traces one through line. The gap keeps you chasing a moving target. Backward measurement gives you a fixed one. And every experience only becomes a win once you decide to make it one. What we haven't unpacked yet is Dr. Benjamin Hardy's full framework for defining success on your own terms, the science linking gap thinking to physical stress and illness, and the daily 3 wins ritual Sullivan's clients have used for decades to rewire how they see their lives. Anyone who feels perpetually behind despite real accomplishment needs this book. We're building the complete summary of The Gap and the Gain now, with an infographic and animated video breaking down exactly how to measure backward. Follow it in the StoryShots app to get it the moment it drops.